Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought your hair looked perfectly fine until someone unexpectedly asked, "Are you feeling tired lately? Is everything okay?" It is a moment that can take you by surprise, and for many women over 50 in America, it happens more often than we realize. The truth is, you can be caring for your hair, visiting the salon regularly, and still be wearing a style that quietly adds years to your appearance. Over the years, I have met so many women who, without even knowing it, were holding on to a cut, a color, or a habit that was working against them. The problem isn't a lack of care or attention. In fact, most of us are doing the best we can with what we know. But as our faces and hair change with time, the same style that once lit up our features can start to pull them down, making us look more tired than we feel. Today, as someone who has spent years helping women over 50 find hairstyles that bring back light and life to their faces, I want to share the 8 most common hair mistakes that can make you look older. And more importantly, how to fix them in simple, graceful ways. These are changes you can start right at home or at your next salon visit, and the results can be surprisingly transformative, making you look 5, even 10 years younger without surgery or heavy makeup. And here's the part you won't want to miss. Somewhere in this video, I'm going to reveal a little-known trick that takes less than 5 minutes, costs almost nothing, and instantly changes the way your hair frames your face. So stay with me until the end, because that small tip might just become your favorite beauty secret. Mistake number 1, blunt one-length haircut without layers. I remember about 8 years ago, I was still wearing my hair cut straight across at shoulder length, the exact same way I had in my 30s. Back then, I thought it looked neat and professional. One day, while looking through our family Thanksgiving photos, I was shocked to realize how heavy and dragged down my face appeared. That was the moment I learned something important. According to the American Hair Loss Association, more than 55% of women over 50 experience thinning hair, and a blunt one-length cut can make that thinning even more noticeable. A straight, blunt cut draws the eye directly to the jawline and neck, which are often the first areas to show signs of aging. Without movement or softness, the hair can make your entire face look tired and lifeless. I'll never forget what my friend in New York, who was 56 at the time, told me. "This haircut makes me feel like I'm carrying an extra 10 years on my shoulders." Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like your hairstyle was quietly working against you? When I finally decided to make a change, I went to my stylist and asked for long, soft layers, especially around my cheekbones. The difference was immediate. The next day at work, one of my coworkers said, "You look like you just came back from a vacation." Those layers didn't just add volume, they also shifted the focus away from areas where my skin wasn't as firm as it used to be. The best part is you don't have to cut off a lot of length to see a change. Even a few gentle layers can give your hair movement every time you turn your head, creating a fresher, more vibrant look. And this is only one small tweak that can make a big impact, because there are so many other little changes that can help you reclaim years without ever setting foot in a plastic surgeon's office. Mistake number 2, neglecting shine and moisture in your hair. I used to think that as long as my hair was cut and styled, it would naturally look healthy. But after turning 55, I noticed something different in the mirror. My hair no longer had that silky, light-catching shine I had in my younger years. Instead, it looked dull and dry, even when I had just washed it. According to a 2024 survey by the Professional Beauty Association, over 60% of women over 50 in the United States say dryness is their #1 hair concern. That lack of shine does more than just affect your hair. It can make your whole face appear tired and older, no matter how flawless your makeup or skincare routine is. I remember one spring afternoon in California when my friend Linda, who is 60, showed me a photo of us taken at a garden party. She looked at me and said, "You know, I think you'd look 10 years younger if your hair had that soft glow again." It was a gentle reminder that shine isn't just about vanity. It's about reflecting light back onto your face, giving your skin a brighter, more vibrant appearance. Have you ever caught your reflection and thought your hair looked lifeless, even on a good day? The solution starts with deep hydration. I began using a rich hair mask twice a week, along with a lightweight argan oil serum after every wash. Within a month, my hair felt softer and looked noticeably healthier. Adding moisture not only improved the texture, but also brought back that youthful shine I had been missing. Restoring your hair's natural radiance can be simpler than you think, and once you experience it, you'll realize how much it transforms your overall look. And if you think that's a big change, just wait until you hear about the next simple shift that can make you feel even more refreshed. Mistake number 3, keeping the same hair part for years. For nearly 2 decades, I kept my hair parted straight down the middle. It was my signature look, and I never thought twice about it. But one day, while having coffee with a friend, she gently pointed out that my face seemed a bit longer than she remembered. That comment made me curious, so I started looking into how a hair part affects facial balance. According to research by the American Academy of Dermatology, changes in hair density and hairline shape are common after 50. And keeping the same part for too long can unintentionally emphasize those changes. A strict middle part can highlight a thinning crown or make the face appear longer and more tired. On the other hand, a deep side part might draw attention to areas where volume has diminished. I remember Susan, a friend from Florida who is 57, telling me she felt like her hair had stopped working for her. When she switched her part slightly off-center, her whole face seemed lifted and even her eyes looked brighter. Have you ever noticed how just shifting your hair can change the way people see you? When I made the change myself, I simply flipped my part to the opposite side and added a touch of root lift spray. The difference was immediate. My face looked softer, my hair fuller, and it felt like I had done far more than just move a line in my hair. It was one of those small tweaks with a surprisingly big payoff. Changing your part is quick, free, and can make you feel instantly renewed. And if you are open to other subtle adjustments, there are even more ways to refresh your entire look without making any drastic moves. Mistake number 4, wearing outdated hair accessories. I used to have a drawer full of scrunchies from the 90s, big plastic clips, and faded headbands that I had been holding onto for years. I told myself they were classic, but in reality, they were doing me no favors. Outdated hair accessories can instantly age your look because they send a silent message that your style has not kept up with the times. According to a 2022 fashion trends report by the NPD Group, accessories are one of the first things people notice when assessing someone's style, and the wrong ones can add years to your perceived age. I remember my friend Patty from New York, who is now 62. She loved wearing her old velvet scrunchie, the same one she had worn since her 30s. One day, she swapped it for a sleek metallic clip with a modern geometric design, and the change was dramatic. Her hair looked more polished, her overall appearance more current, and people actually asked if she had gotten a new haircut. Have you ever had someone notice a small change and think you completely updated your look? When I finally started replacing my old accessories, I chose slim, minimalist hair clips in neutral tones, elegant pins with pearl details, and invisible elastic ties for ponytails. These simple updates made my hairstyles feel intentional and fresh without looking overdone. Even something as small as switching to a clear hair tie instead of a worn-out band can lift your look instantly. Refreshing your hair accessories is one of the easiest style upgrades you can make. And once you see the difference, you might be surprised at how many other little changes can have a big impact on how vibrant and confident you feel. Mistake number 5, hair that is too long and heavy. For years, I believed that keeping my hair long was the ultimate sign of femininity. I wore it past my shoulders without giving much thought to how it shaped my face. Over time, I started noticing that my features looked more pulled down, and my hair seemed to lack movement. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, hair naturally becomes finer and loses density as we age, which means long, heavy styles can make the face look drawn and tired instead of soft and lifted. I think about Mary, a 55-year-old client from Chicago. She loved her waist-length hair and worried that cutting it would make her feel less like herself. But the length was weighing her hair down, making it look flat at the crown and stringy at the ends. When she finally decided to try a long bob with soft layers and curtain bangs, the change was incredible. Her cheekbones popped, her hair moved with a natural bounce, and she told me, "I feel like I just dropped 10 years without even trying." Have you ever considered how much lighter and fresher you might look with just a few inches off? When I went through this change myself, I kept enough length to feel comfortable, but asked my stylist for face framing layers and a fringe that blended into the sides. This gave my hair shape, lifted my features, and brought back a sense of playfulness I had missed. Sometimes, letting go of extra length is less about losing something and more about gaining movement, softness, and balance. And once you see how the right shape can completely transform your look, you might be curious about other small shifts that can bring out your best features. Mistake number 6, not protecting your hair from the sun. I used to be so focused on protecting my skin from the sun that I completely forgot my hair needed protection too. Living in California, the sunshine is beautiful, but relentless. After a summer of morning walks and afternoons gardening, I started noticing my hair color fading faster and the texture becoming rougher. According to the Skin Cancer Foundation, ultraviolet rays not only damage the skin but also weaken the protein structure in hair, leading to dryness, brittleness, and color loss. This is especially noticeable for women over 50, as our hair is already more fragile and less able to retain moisture. My friend Helen, who is 59 and lives in Arizona, learned this the hard way. She had just gotten a gorgeous caramel balayage, but within 2 months of spending time outdoors, the color had turned brassy and uneven. When she added a UV protectant hairspray and wore a wide-brimmed hat during her morning hikes, her color lasted twice as long and her hair felt noticeably softer. Have you ever seen your fresh salon color fade before you even had time to enjoy it? When I made the change, I started using a lightweight UV spray before going outside, even on cloudy days, and kept a stylish straw hat in my car. It became a simple habit, like putting on sunscreen, and it made all the difference. My hair stayed shiny, my color stayed vibrant, and I avoided that dry, straw-like texture that can add years to your look. Protecting your hair from the sun is one of those small steps that keeps you looking polished and feeling confident. And once you start noticing the results, it is hard not to think about other easy habits that could have the same powerful effect. Mistake number 7, hair color that is too harsh or doesn't complement your skin tone. For years, I clung to jet black hair because I believed it made me look youthful and elegant. But over time, I noticed my complexion starting to appear washed out. Dark, flat colors can emphasize fine lines, under-eye shadows, and uneven skin texture, especially as our skin naturally softens in tone after 50. According to a 2020 survey by the Professional Beauty Association, over 65% of women over 50 say they feel their hair color no longer works for them. Yet many are unsure how to choose a better shade. I think of my friend Deborah from Oregon, who is 53. She had worn the same deep black hair color for decades. One day, her stylist suggested transitioning to a warm chestnut brown with soft caramel highlights around her face. The difference was stunning. Her skin looked brighter, her eyes seemed more vibrant, and she told me she felt like her whole personality lit up. Have you ever wondered if your hair color might be quietly making you look older than you feel? When I finally embraced change, I opted for a soft, dimensional brown with honey lowlights that worked with my natural undertones instead of against them. For blondes, creamy or buttery tones can be far more flattering than icy shades. And for those embracing silver, A gloss treatment can keep the color bright and prevent yellowing. Finding the right color is about enhancing, not overpowering, your natural beauty. Once you see how the right shade can lift your face and soften your features, you might be curious about other ways a few thoughtful adjustments can completely refresh your look. Mistake number 8, skipping regular trims. For a while, I thought letting my hair grow as long as possible would make it look fuller and healthier. The truth was, after a few months without a trim, the ends became frayed, the shape of my haircut disappeared, and my styling never looked quite right. Hair naturally loses its structure over time, and according to the American Academy of Dermatology, split ends can travel up the hair shaft if left untreated, making hair look thinner and more damaged. This is especially noticeable for women over 50, as our hair tends to be drier and more fragile. My friend Julie, who is 61 and lives in Seattle, hadn't cut her hair in 9 months. She thought she was saving her length, but the bottom few inches were so brittle they actually made her whole hairstyle appear limp. When she finally went to the salon and trimmed just 2 inches, adding a few soft layers, people kept asking if she had done something new to her makeup or skincare. She looked refreshed without changing anything but her haircut. Have you ever noticed how even a small trim can make your whole style bounce back to life? I now make it a point to schedule trims every 6 to 8 weeks. It is just enough to maintain the shape, remove damaged ends, and keep the style looking intentional. This routine not only makes my hair easier to manage, but also helps every style, from a simple ponytail to a blowout, look more polished. Regular trims are a simple habit that can have an unexpectedly big impact on your overall look. And once you see how much better your hair behaves, you might start thinking about other easy habits that could give you that same fresh, confident feeling. Your hair is so much more than something you style in the morning. It is the frame for your face, the soft halo that tells the world who you are and how you feel inside. Over time, it can either lift your spirit or quietly weigh you down. The truth is, you do not need a dramatic makeover to turn back the clock. Sometimes it is as simple as shifting your part, softening your color, or adding the moisture your hair has been craving. I have seen women brighten their entire presence with just one thoughtful change, looking 5, even 10 years younger. Not because they were trying to look younger, but because their hair began to reflect their energy again. So, let your hair speak for the most vibrant, confident version of you, untouched by age. And now I want to hear from you. What hairstyle have you been dreaming of trying? Share it with me, and I will see you in the next video.